favorite driver, by the way. So I'm
yeah, but even you are
really. I couldn't tell by your hat.
I'm surprised you even know what 88 was. To be completely honest with you.
I didn't, but then I saw the amped on the back of your hat, and then I was like, okay, I've drank amped with Earnhardt on it, so I was like,
okay.
all right. Lucky guess.
Even you,
lucky
Doug, are
guess.
kind of admitting that. I mean,
it is. It's fishy, but I'm not going to raise a ruckus over it.
Well, he's struggling this year, so of course they're going to do as much as they can for him.
You get that through a lot of sports, though, where there's always that one guy that can get away with a few extra things, and that's like that everywhere. Well, that's like that.
Yeah, well,
it's like LeBron and the extra half step in his dunk.
Well, or say LeBron
I wouldn't say
and
half
Kobe.
step. I'd say more than the half a step.
Yeah, like it's
half
like
court
that.
Run.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like that in all sports. Every sports has a favorite where somebody gets away with something and they won't get a travel call.
Randy Moss gets the calls or whatever.
Yeah.
Randy Moss can put his hands all over the defender, but he's okay.
The second somebody touches him, it's pass interference. Yeah.
It happens everywhere. But it's another example for the haters. And you're almost there. You're almost a hater, so I'm surprised you're not jumping.
I am not. He's my fourth favorite driver.
Not really. I mean, because you're a Hendrick fan.
I've never really had a problem with Junior. What I've had a problem with is everybody blindly liking him because of his father. I have a problem with that. And I'm not not everybody. Let me rephrase that. A majority of the I'm not you, Doug.
Don't look at me, Doug. I don't know what's going on.
A majority, and this is what one of our friends. Right? And this is what one of our friends. This is what one of our friends, Kyle, who will probably be on the show eventually, has a problem with. Is that a very significant number of Junior fans are blind Junior fans because of his father, and that frustrates him, and it frustrates me.
I'm a blind Junior fan because of his awesomeness. I blindly follow him because he's the coolest driver.
Okay, well, now that we're on this, let's talk about this for a minute. You are a statistics person, so let's be realistic. What statistics show that he is a, quote, awesome NASCAR driver?
Daytona 500 winner, 2-time Busch Series champion, more wins than half the field.
Boom.
How many championships?
2 Busch championships.
How many Cup championships?
Yeah, and if you were stuck with DEI all those years, would you have won any championships?
Oh, okay. Now we're gonna go. Let's change the subject.
Seriously, put anybody in that one of those cars. Wouldn't have happened.
I will be surprised if I don't have a problem with
Richard
Dale
Petty
Jr.
himself could have driven for DEI. He would have never won a championship.
I don't have a problem with Dale Jr. He seems like a genuine nice guy. Actually, I think he has a lot of unfair pressure on him, but I don't know. NASCAR analysts have said this, and I believe in it. It's time. He really needs to do something here real quick.
Oh, they could just give him the good equipment at Hendrick. I know you were warning me about going down that route.
But here's the thing, though.
I don't believe that. By the way,
I know you do. I know you don't.
Wait, which is it?
I know you don't believe that, but no. What's interesting is 3 of the 400 cars have won a race this year and have been doing very well. So.
This is an instance where I'm not trusting statistics. I'm throwing those out.
What?
I will use them to my advantage, sir. Just like any fan.
I just think I honestly think that things that history shows that Junior is okay to decent.
So Junior doesn't have a championship.
Not in Cup. He does not. And actually, he's come close 1 year.
Not in Cup. So he's gonna.
What's the second year, Doug?
2003. You can even say 2005, really.
And he's this popular and all this
06.
without having a championship?
Yeah.
Because of his father.
Because of his dad?
To a certain extent, yeah. A lot of he picked up a lot of fans right after his father passed away that just transferred over. Earnhardt Senior fans. He became his fan after to fill the void, so to speak.
That's a hard pill for me to swallow.
Yep. And for example, I was a relatively large because I got into NASCAR right when Jeff Gordon, who is my favorite driver, was in his prime, and Dale Earnhardt was still around and doing okay. And I really liked my 2 favorite drivers. I would say for the first 2 or 3 years in NASCAR was Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon. That was rare. But however, when the tragedy happened and Dale Earnhardt left, I was not one of those that transferred over.
I guess it's not rare because I love the underdog and all my other sports teams are considered the lovable losers, but it's just weird.
Shout out to the Cubs.
Yeah, shout out to the Cubs, but it's just weird because minus the Cubs, a lot of the teams that lose and a lot of the people that lose in sports aren't very popular, and this guy is popular.
Well, he will. I mean, but
so that's
he's not as bad as people make him out to be, though. The statistic, again, if we're going to use statistics.
Yes, let's get back to
The statistics would
which you abandoned. Huh?
would put him probably, if I had to give like a grade, he's probably a B.
Okay.
But okay, a B is not bad. A B is not greatness. A B is not bad. The guy is a very steady Cup driver.
I did not. I just shook my head a little bit. I would not give him a B. B minus, an 80. I would give him an 80 to an 81%.
That's only because you're hard on him.
I'm really not.
You really are.
He is put in a league up with, if not above, drivers like Kyle Busch and Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, and that is not right. Jimmy Johnson has flat out earned it.
Statistically speaking, him and Kyle Busch on the same plane.
Jimmy Johnson is the best driver in NASCAR right now. Statistics prove that. How can you deny? Mike,
I'll take Tony
3 consecutive championships.
I'll take.
Yeah,
I take Tony Stewart over Jimmy Johnson just because I think as a pure driver he's better. I think Johnson has a better team. I think him and Knaus click better than Stewart and his crew have ever clicked.
But here's the one thing that I want to chime in and say. Like you said, that he's a better driver. But does the better driver, because it's a point system, always win the championship?
No.
So there you go.
No.
You can be a better driver than somebody else, but just because you're a better driver doesn't mean. I mean, the lesser of the drivers might know how to get more points, therefore win the championship. So really, who's the smarter person? The one that's the better driver, or the one that knows how to get the championship at the end?
I'm not grading on who's the smartest. I'm grading on who I think has the most talent.
See, well, then I can argue with that there. Who necessarily has, I could sit here and
I
be
think
like,
I get what you're saying.
I know what you're
saying.
I know what you're saying. What here's the thing is that it's kind of like watching a football player play versus seeing the how many, like a running back. You watch him run versus seeing the stat line at the end of the day. You say, oh, he got 100 yards, but if you watch him, you know if this guy's doing a great job or not. I watch the races, and so I can tell, and I've seen him. Like, I've been there, and I've seen the cars wiggle around and all that, and I've always been more impressed by what a guy like Tony Stewart can do behind the wheel, or Kyle Busch, or Jeff Gordon, versus Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr. and some of these, and Matt Kenseth. These are guys that are good drivers, but these guys need good cars.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
As long as you guys get what I'm trying to say.
Well, aren't you? No,
like
let me make sure I'm understanding. Is it kind of the thing of, well, who might be quote better or who gets it done?
Yeah, that's what I'm basically trying to say.
Johnson gets it done.
Yeah, so
and you also got to look at the thing. It's kind of like as a quarterback too in the NFL, where we say Tom Brady gets it done. Tom Brady's also surrounded by world-class talent versus, say,
but that's,
John Kitna on the Lions.
Not one sport is a singular sport except like tennis.
But that's the point I'm making here. The reason Johnson gets it done isn't so much because of Johnson as is because of the people around him.
So you're gonna say none of those races he didn't just purely adrenaline
I would say that it's as much the fact that Johnson or Chad Knaus' crew chief is excellent at making the car better through the day.
Well, and to flip to agree with you in a certain extent, that says a lot about Tony Stewart this year. The team that he's I can see both sides.
You see but you see at the same time here.
Yes, but I think that argument kind of devalues the whole thing that sports are. You can be great, but Johnson has a good team, and it's a team sport. Every sport is a team sport, except for tennis.
I'm not trying to take away from anything that Johnson's done. I'm trying to say is if you want me to say, pure talent wise, who I think the best driver is, I'm gonna tell you I think it's Tony Stewart. Pure talent. He hasn't always had, Gibbs has been an elite team. Joe Gibbs Racing, he's driven for them up until this year, but they haven't been Hendrick. Hendrick has been the elite team. You understand what I'm saying? And also, Rick Hendrick struck gold with Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson. He struck gold by putting them together. And so did Gibbs with Stewart and Zipadelli, but Stewart and Zipadelli were just never quite as good together as Knaus and Johnson were. And that's why Johnson won those championships. Because he's not just a good driver, he's got the strength of his crew around him.
Fair enough. I can see, like I said, I can see both sides of the argument. And
we ended up going way off topic here because I was hoping not to spend so much time talking about racing because I thought we might lose Mike. But
we can move on if you want. I think that I can see both sides of that, and I agree with what you're saying.
I actually participated a lot more in that one than I thought I was going to.
You did good. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
The real question though is would you take Matthew Stafford #1 overall, or would you take like Aaron Curry?
I'm kind of glad you brought that up.
And the NFL draft. I should say I'm switching subjects here.
I'm really glad you brought that up because yesterday, Doug, you and I had a conversation about the Detroit Lions. Do you remember that?
Oh, you're not supposed to do that. You know the rules. Save it for the show.
We had a talk, and you know, Chris, you can blast me for this or not, but I actually do not